Aliyah Boston has been providing fresh insights about Sophie Cunningham's injury situation and the remarkable turnaround performance her squad delivered against the Connecticut Sun. The discussion takes place in Indianapolis, where developments continue to unfold. The Indiana Fever players have been receiving criticism for maintaining podcast shows. Many athletes across the league operate similar programs. Angel Reese discontinued hers during her first season last year. Caitlin Clark appears unlikely to start one, as she seems entirely focused on basketball without extra time for such ventures. She represents the complete basketball-dedicated athlete archetype. These podcast ventures prove beneficial since they provide additional content opportunities and offer unprecedented insider perspectives into team dynamics. This represents something previously unavailable when covering this organization. The development appears quite remarkable. Many such programs have proven financially successful, creating supplementary income streams for these athletes. Supporting these initiatives, particularly the Indiana Fever Women's Podcast series, seems worthwhile. Sophie recently completed her podcast episode yesterday, delivering outstanding content. Fresh details emerged directly from primary sources regarding Bria Hartley's status and various other team matters. Aliyah Boston follows similar patterns. Boston recently concluded a podcast session with Candace Parker, covering numerous topics throughout their conversation. One particularly notable discussion focused on the Indiana Fever's matchup against the Connecticut Sun and the factors that intensified the rivalry between these organizations. This subject matter proved engaging and worthy of examination. Multiple players contributed significantly during the game. Natasha Howard recorded 18 points and 9 rebounds. Odyssey Sims integrated seamlessly, posting 19 points, 4 rebounds and 7 assists. I ended the game with 38, 6 assists, 5 threes, 2 steals. She passed Tamika Catchings for the most 30-point games in franchise history. You see it, like she's on that court. She just wants to win. I think coming out at halftime, like we said, we were determined. I was like, Kels, call your number. Call your number. It does not matter. Like, Kelsey is a different level of speed. You're trying to play her so she doesn't get downhill, and then she's gonna bounce that ball one more time and knock down that three. And it's like, she stepped up considerably with the backcourt facing difficulties. Bree Turner elevated her defensive performance during the fourth quarter. Lexi Hull delivered a crucial three-pointer. Kelsey Mitchell produced an exceptional MVP-caliber performance. She managed only 4 points entering halftime, but finished with 38 points, 6 assists, 5 three-pointers, and 2 steals. Her achievement surpassed Tamika Catchings' franchise record for most 30-point games in team history. She demonstrated elite-level play. And it's like, you can't ever find your happy medium. And I think she just kept calling her own number and kept knocking it down. It's hard to guard her like that. What? Well, for those of you that are new to the WNBA, Kelsey Mitchell has been about this, to be honest with you. And, we kind of throw out the numbers of Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Mitchell displayed intense focus and determination on court, showing her winning mentality. At halftime, the team expressed determination, encouraging Mitchell to take charge. Mitchell possesses unique speed that creates defensive challenges. Opponents struggle to prevent her drives while she simultaneously threatens with additional dribbles before connecting on three-point attempts. Finding the proper defensive balance proves nearly impossible. She consistently took responsibility and delivered results, making her extremely difficult to defend. Mitchell has maintained consistency throughout the entire season. Giannis Antetokounmpo, and just calm down where I'm going. But, his MVP seasons aren't as a result of his numbers. It's usually how his team performs. And with Kelsey Mitchell, she's been putting up numbers like this. It's just that Fever hadn't been winning. And you realize, you get that type of reputation in the league of being a hooper, being able to put the ball in the hoop, and the scattering report proves that. And so, now you all are stacking wins. You all look like a solid team where others are. For newcomers to the WNBA, Mitchell has consistently performed at this level, similar to how MVP recognition often depends on team success rather than individual statistics. Mitchell has posted impressive numbers while the Fever previously struggled with wins. She earned recognition as a skilled scorer, with scouting reports confirming this reputation. Now with accumulated victories, the team appears solid, with others contributing effectively. At 19-16, they occupy 6th place in standings. Only a few games separate the second position from 6th place. The upcoming competition promises to be extraordinary to observe. Now you all are stacking wins. You all look like a solid team where others are stepping up. You are 19 and 16. You're 6th in the standings. There are a few games that separate that second spot from spot number 6. And I think it's going to be unbelievable to watch you all. Unfortunately, you all did lose Sophie Cunningham in the second quarter with a knee injury. And obviously we send our thoughts and prayers out to Sophie. You all have had a lot of unfortunately, Sophie Cunningham sustained a knee injury during the second quarter, requiring thoughts and support from everyone. The team has endured numerous challenging situations throughout the season. Adversity typically builds and reveals character, and currently during this period, many players have elevated their contributions. The entire season has featured various setbacks and obstacles. However, everyone in the locker room maintains positive attitudes, which has been their consistent approach all season. The disappointment of losing a teammate doesn't disappear, but the response involves continuing to compete for that injured player. This mentality applies to every game, playing for those unable to participate. This approach characterized their second-half performance, playing for each other and celebrating everything regardless of missed shots, maintaining trust that the next player will attempt the same shot on the following possession. This demonstrates connectivity and belief that certain teams must possess the next player up mentality. This applies to both player availability and upcoming schedule demands, believing that performance quality depends on the next game preparation. The remaining schedule presents significant challenges. Lynx at home, Lynx away, Storm at home, Sparks away, Valkyrie away, Mercury away, and Sky at home. These represent their final 7 regular season contests. Regarding conversations about finishing strong heading into playoffs, their goal remains taking each game individually. They avoid looking too far ahead, currently focusing on Minnesota's Friday game followed by Sunday's rematch. Their mindset centers entirely on the Lynx matchup. Given this season's imperfect nature with player availability issues, they emphasize staying present-focused. They concentrate on immediate tasks, examining one game at a time. This approach prevents overlooking opponents or anticipating future matchups or revenge scenarios. Current attention remains on the Lynx. Interestingly, they've only faced Minnesota during the Commissioner's Cup throughout their season, making these upcoming meetings particularly significant. Boston's comments about confronting the Minnesota Lynx highlight upcoming challenges. The next 2 contests against them will prove demanding. These represent physical, intense matchups. The Lynx currently lead the WNBA standings. Realistically, Indiana Fever winning both games against Minnesota appears unlikely. Dear Philip Oliver Halls type people who just randomly tweet the most wild racist shit under like injuries TJ Carrington's posts when they're not fans of any, but you're not fans of any player. These are the same people that are calling Caitlin Clarknews like they are literally just rage baiters. I'm not all madame like they're just awful people, but like the Page fans, oh my god, the worst people are the AZ fans. Oh my god, have you seen some of the stuff they've said about Sophie Cunningham? They're literally wishing in, like they're now celebrating. Honest assessments suggest they won't capture both victories. Perhaps they could secure one victory, though some might predict losses in both contests. While losing both seems possible, winning both appears highly improbable. Successfully defeating them twice consecutively would represent their 3rd seasonal victory over Minnesota, which would prove remarkable. Basketball revolves around matchup dynamics. Each team presents different strengths and weaknesses. They are now celebrating Bria Hartley as some sort of god of the WNBA because she took out Sophie Cunningham. It's unhinged. The Page fans are unhinged. They're absolutely unhinged. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to the Angel Reese fans. You guys aren't that bad. You guys aren't that bad. You guys aren't that bad. And when we're not talking about the rage bait trolls that will just troll everybody, they're not fans of anybody. Even the worst of the Caitlin Clark fans, you guys aren't that bad. You and Angel Reese fans. During their previous victory over Minnesota, the roster included Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and Ari McDonald players who performed exceptionally but are no longer available. However, Stephanie White demonstrated excellent coaching strategy against Minnesota and Cheryl Reeve. White potentially could outcoach Reeve, but executing this twice consecutively presents significant challenges. The Women's National Basketball Association has issued another penalty to Sophie Cunningham, marking her 3rd consecutive fine related to podcast commentary. This latest disciplinary action stems from her remarks regarding Paige Baker's and officiating standards during recent games. Cunningham received this newest financial penalty after discussing what she characterized as favorable officiating treatment toward Baker. The league took issue with her assessment of the referee calls, despite Cunningham maintaining that her commentary was not particularly harsh or inappropriate. The monetary penalties imposed on players for such commentary appear relatively modest, reportedly around $200 per incident, which represents a minimal financial burden for professional athletes earning substantial salaries. However, the pattern of fines raises questions about consistency in league enforcement. Various fan bases within women's basketball have generated intense online discourse surrounding these incidents. Supporters of different players have engaged in heated exchanges across social media platforms, with some groups displaying particularly aggressive behavior toward opposing players and commentators. The digital harassment has escalated to concerning levels, with threats and personal attacks becoming commonplace. The officiating controversy extends beyond individual player comments to broader questions about referee consistency throughout the league. Multiple incidents during recent games have sparked debate about whether certain players receive preferential treatment from officials. During one particular contest, observers noted numerous questionable foul calls that appeared to favor specific players over others. In that contested game, Beckers drew several free throw attempts under circumstances that many viewed as questionable. Multiple instances involved minimal or no contact from defenders, yet officials awarded shooting fouls. Meanwhile, other players faced different standards when similar contact occurred, creating apparent inconsistencies in how games were officiated. It's selective fining, that's the problem. Like, Kelsey Plum has not been fined this year, and Kelsey Plum has literally just stopped entire press conference playing with referees. Apparently Stephanie White didn't get fined when Marina Mabrey knocked Caitlin on her ass, and then Sophie Cunningham took down JC Sheldon. Apparently Stephanie White didn't get, and Mazian did not get fined for both of them going mad at referees. And both of them, if we can be honest, like, if the JC Sheldon Captain Insano gets called as a flagrant foul on that spot, on the physical play during these contests also raised concerns about player safety and appropriate foul recognition. Several aggressive plays went uncalled or were handled differently than similar actions elsewhere in games. This inconsistent application of rules created confusion and frustration among players, coaches, and observers. League leadership faces criticism for what appears to be selective enforcement of commentary policies. While some players have faced fines for referee criticism, others have made similar statements without facing penalties. This uneven application of disciplinary measures has created perception problems regarding fairness and transparency in league operations. It's called as a flagrant foul on that spot, on the spot. Then the Tina Charles kind of, like, I still don't think Tina Charles, like, she was walking towards you like that, like her hands in her face and Caitlin's back, but that doesn't happen, and Caitlin having to walk away from Tina Charles into an oncoming Marina Mabrey playing pimp, like hot body checking her, like two hockey goons, like, it is, like, none of that happens if the referee calls a flagrant foul and stops the whole situation. The situation highlights broader tensions within women's professional basketball regarding media attention, player treatment, and competitive balance. Different players attract varying levels of scrutiny and protection, leading to questions about whether star treatment influences both officiating and administrative decisions. Fan behavior across social media platforms has become increasingly toxic, with supporter groups engaging in personal attacks and harassment campaigns. The intensity of these online interactions often exceeds reasonable sports discourse, crossing into threatening and abusive territory that creates safety concerns for players and commentators. Revenue and viewership patterns within the league show significant disparities, with certain teams and players driving substantially more audience engagement than others.